Well, good evening, lads and lasses. Good to see you all tonight. How are we all feeling tonight? Chipper? Positively dandy? Having a wonderful and good grasp on one's sanity? Because, keep a good hold of that. The adventure we're going on will hopefully strip you of that foolish little thing called sanity. Well, if the original story is anything to go by, we'll all end this by looking in the mirror, realizing that we are in fact related to a ancient line of half-fish people, and decide I have to go join your fish ancestors under the sea. But I doubt that's how this is going to go. But we can always hope. Anyone here actually read the old Call of Cthulhu or the like? Oh yes, I probably should have started with my... I said good evening, lads and lasses. Remember that question. Everyone, remember that question. I also forgot to post the stuff on Twitter. Oh dear, dear, dear. There we are. Posted. And posted. There we are. Sorry about that. Almost forgot to self-promote. Goodness gracious. I've really got to stop doing that. Ring, ring, ring. Now, who could that be? Oh dear, it's Cthulhu. What does that slimy sod want now? Quite proud of that one. But I'll leave that be. Oh, goodness. But yes, we are playing Call of Cthulhu, as you probably gathered from the screen. Tonight, as always, I'll say what I'm drinking. An interesting one. A modified version of a cocktail I just made today. So, cutting edge stuff. I have here the ume fruit from umeshu. Choya, that's the brand I've used. And a shot of honeydew melon liqueur from Hunter Valley. And just some soda and ice. Quite a good one. I would usually have another shot. Well, when I originally made this shot, this cocktail, I used another shot of Choya, but I'm running it out. And I'm a bit sad, I don't want to use it all. But, for those who've joined me, what are you drinking tonight? What's your poison of choice? Cordial once again, RT, or... I was recently looking back at some old streams. Maybe somebody here's got something exciting, like a Southern Comfort or something like that. Diet Coke. Ooh, wow. Ah, Coke Zero and Diet Coke. The guilt-free way of melting one's teeth. I'm guilty of drinking Coke a lot, and I'll drink my Diet or Zero if it's there, but at this point I think I'm a bit far gone to worry about what kind of Coke I'm drinking. Practically old enough to have had it when it still had cocaine and the stuff. But yes. Good, good, good. Oh, jeez, Uber. No need to be so harsh on the poor thing. Diet Coke is trying its best. I'm not too sure the difference. You have Coke Zero and Diet Coke. I'm not too sure the difference between the two. Aren't they both supposed to be good for you? And why do you need two? And anyway, substitute sugar is the worst. Oh yes. I suppose that's how they did it. They used that sugar substitute, lassis or something. Well, as I was going to say, it's good to see you, Uber. It's been a while. What's your poison for tonight, Uber? I explained my poison, so you probably missed it, and I'm not going to explain it again. You can just watch the video. You can watch the video on demand, the VOD. Hey, card box. Oh, maybe if I keep waiting and more people just keep turning up. Ooh, Mountain Dew. Never been much a fan of Mountain Dew, though it has been the gamer's drink of choice for a while. I'm not too sure how that got happened. Strange way of saying that. Probably a successful marketing campaign. A guilty pleasure. We all have those. But yes. I have an interesting cocktail. I still haven't made a name for it. Umeshu, ume fruit, melon soda, melon liqueur, and soda water with some ice in a highball glass. It's quite nice. But we should probably start playing this video game, shouldn't we? After our introductions are out of the way. Anyone here read the old what is it called? The game. There it is. Anyone read the old Lovecraftian books? Lovecraft books? I suppose any of his derivatives would count as well. Ah yes, the game has been muted. Let me unmute that for you. Once it loads, maybe. Too spooky? Finally able to catch a live stream. You're a busy man. Busy man. Wonder if all of the regulars are gonna turn up tonight. I'll enter madness later after I unmute it. There we are. It's time to enter madness. Okay. Pierce Investigations Agency. Ooh, noir. 21 subs, yes! Look at me. Most popular thing since sliced bread. I screwed up that phrase. What is it? Best thing since sliced bread. That's the one. Goodness. Really is my passion, screwing up those phrases. Where are we? Boston's, we are very noir. Investigations Agency. Oh, in the 20s. The roaring 20s, mate. Old Leonardo DiCaprio is going to turn up. Do that weird raise his glass thing at us while the fireworks are going off in the background. Boston, 1924. Edward Pierce, veteran of the First World War, drowns his memories in liquor and sleeping pills. Not an uncommon story, unfortunately. He's now a private detective, again not quite uncommon, who has trouble finding a case able to lift him from his torpor. Oh wow. He's an artistic fellow. Likes his cases to be challenging. Needs to find a new case quickly or risk losing his license. Wonderful. I see. If I am mad, it is mercy. I don't know why they needed to be subtitles for that. By God's pity the man who is in his callousness can remain sane to the heinous end. And to madness. Amygdala. Amygdala. Isn't that a part of the brain? Oh dear. Oh! Hey look, it's that Vtuber! Oh dear. Hit by a bomb. I probably shouldn't say it's that Vtuber. Well, actually, no, it's probably okay. There are a number of shark Vtubers, so I might be safe from defamation. Oh, the game is already saved. How kind. Now, fish guts. Ooh, dear. Oh wow, this is quite sensitive. Oh wow! Suddenly the room is full of water. I'm not too sure about these graphics. Do tell me how it feels for you. I've limited a lot of the frame rate, because you guys are only seeing it at 60 frames per second anyway, so it doesn't really matter if I see it any better. I've limited to 60 frames. Don't want to use too much processing up. Oh, it's very confused. It wants me to use the controller. So I shall use the controller. Okay, there we go. Controller this time. Changing it up. Now, where have I found ourselves? Maybe he drank up too much and had too many sleeping spills, and he's woken up somewhere in some kind of fishy-smelling hell. Perhaps he was kidnapped by someone in his stupor. Counter darkness. You must light up items in order to interact with them. Oh. Don't worry, it is just as dark for me as it is for you fellas. A salty cave. Ya salty dog. Let's go run into... I hope at the end of the game we get to run into old old Cthulhu with a boat, like in the actual story. Ooh, a hurricane lamp. I really don't like the aesthetic of these hurricane lamps. Old Kathy, eh? Ooh, boat. And I'm not too sure what that symbol means. That seems to be some sort of avant-garde symbol for dynamite, perhaps? If games have taught me anything, red boxes do mean explosives. And I'm certain I limited it to 100 frames, 60 frames. Why is it sitting on 120? Probably should go back to that object I should be interacting with. Ooh. Bolt cutters. How very Resident Evil. Also, they don't look like bolt cutters. The ones I'm used to, at least. Oh dear. Do tell me if everything sounds fine, by the way. And that I'm not lagging terribly. Let me check if I can change the frame rate here. Might jump it down to 60 frames a second. Looks like it's struggling a bit. It is 60 frames. Then why is my frame rate counter saying it's not? Oh, technology. You are a fickle mistress. Perhaps it's the actual... Oh dear. Me or this? Because I can imagine Cthulhu would be quite upset with all of this chum. Oh dear. Killer whale. Not so killer anymore. Seems my models are tad laggy. Love the old-timey music there. Well, too spooky. Interesting. Oh. Don't fight someone? You have been chosen, so it's okay not to fight? Or don't fight, you have been chosen and you have no choice? The implications for each phrase is slightly different. Oh, it's like we're underwater. Wee wee. Goodness gracious.
Everything has already been written.
Some faceless fellows.
But perhaps you will attempt to change your destiny.
Ooh. Squidman. It's old, Davy Jones himself. Oh no. Policeman with no face. My favorite friend. I would die for you, policeman. Oh dear.
I hate whiskey.
Goodness gracious. Since when does Kathy talk so much? I can't quite understand what you're referring to.
Married woman runs off with her girlfriend.
Ah.
Husband couldn't understand it.
Yes, it is the 20s.
A good old story of blackmail in a speakeasy.
Ooh. Nice. Not a lot one can do against a private detective who's got proof against you. Very funny. Seems to be quite a successful though.
Natural sciences, linguistics, archaeology.
Let's be honest, Edward Pierce. You picked these books because they looked nice. Oh, you wish your whiskey did that, eh? It made you have terrible visions of the deep and unknown. That every time you get drunk off a bottle of scotch, you'd be waking up the next morning with visions of, well, I suppose of, what are those ones called? Narcoleptep. Yes, the classic whiskey side effect. You have visions of Narcoleptotep, the Gate of Madness, of Shoggoths, and the Deep Sea,
I used
and...
to be an avid reader.
Oh, you used to be. Now you're too drunk to see the words straight, are you? Just an extra tidebit or two. No, that's the way to meet God. Well, perhaps if your God is old Cthulhu, then perhaps the tidebit or two would be what you need to meet him. But, you'd be meeting Jesus pretty well quick with that kind of attitude.
The Wentworth Agency doesn't attract top-notch cases.
Well, c'est la vie, I suppose. It is 1920s America. Everyone's rather break the law than get a private investigator to deal with it.
Been a while since I jotted down something other than my nightmares.
Ooh. Jesus, the false god. Yes, Jesus is the false god. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that. That sounds very dangerous. Goodness. Kathy is the one true god. Oh yes, I guess got cancelled by the fellows down at, what is that really annoying one in America? Westboro Baptist? Goodness. Westboro Baptist? I'm not too sure. Oh, look at that. Eloquence. Wow, we've got to upgrade that one. Spot hidden? Investigation. Psychology, medicine. Ooh. Improved by discovering objects in the environment. Well, I'm not too worried about being cancelled by any church. Ooh, mental trauma. Veteran of the World War Power, Meuse Argonne Offensive. Oh, the Lost Battalion. Interesting. So, traumatized, sleeping pills. What of the nightmares? Tragedy. Ooh, his office. Small-time cases. Adultery settles scores. Disappearances that are not actually disappearances. Interesting. No, I don't think I'll drink. It's a bit bad to do hair of the dog. I'm not going to put old Pierce through that. Old Eddie.
I wonder why I still take these things.
I wonder what they are. Descriptive name. Can I zoom in? Can't quite read what that says. Well, who knows? I don't know if I'm in sync at all, but it's nice. Isn't it nice? Let's see what horrifying things are. Oh. I'll turn that back on, that's nice. Oh, apparently that was what I was meant to do. Radio. Radio? Phone. Moshi Mosh?
I'm listening.
Eduardo Peso? So that was racist. Is it racist?
That's correct.
Oh dear, I'm truly trying to get myself cancelled on this one.
I'm calling because of a problem with your file. A fire has destroyed some of our documents.
Oh, has it now?
Is that right?
I'm so very sorry, but I have to collect your personal information yet again.
I'm surprised you even knew I was in your personal files. Oh, and apparently my eloquence is part of my personal files. So what have I got to work with? 8 character points. Now. No, I'm definitely going with eloquence. Oh, I see. Interesting. I can't upgrade. Ooh, oh, apparently I can. We're going with that. Your boy's trained in paramedics, and he's gonna follow after me. Some medical knowledge into him. 2 CP. Or I could go with a 4 for that. Ah! I don't know much about occultism, but I am eloquent. And I sort of do know the human mind, so there we are.
Thank you for this information, Mr. Pierce. Our files will be upset.
Don't worry, I'll just edit out the joke very terribly.
What's wrong?
I can.
As you know, we wish to closely monitor the progress of our contractors. And it would seem
I wonder indeed.
when new cases.
I'll just make sure to
Well,
edit it out. I'll
serious.
write it down somewhere.
Mr. Pierce,
I've lost my book too. I used to have this little book that had all my notes in it for the streams, and I've
But are those cases...
misplaced it, and I cannot find it.
not lose.
Put it in a safe place, clearly.
Show yourself worthy of the Wentworth Detective Agency, and we might keep you on the payroll.
Oh, suddenly you're very sassy. Ooh. Oh dear.
I'm coming.
Oh dear. This... Is it a femme fatale? Not from that cough, I'm not imagining it is. Ooh, look. The femme fatale for people with very, very
Sir,
particular
I came here
tastes.
on the advice of a person whom I hold in high esteem, and I must say that I expected anything but a drunkard's lair.
Well, that's anywhere a drunkard lives, unfortunately.
You're free to leave anytime, sir.
Do you know to whom you speak?
Nope.
Stephen Webster, industrialist and art collector. All of Boston.
Apparently he does.
Tell me, Mr. Pierce, are you capable of handling a new case, or are you simply a deadbeat inebriate?
If you come to me, it means you're desperate.
Nobody believes me. They take me for an old fool.
Well, I'd deck you and make you an old fool if I could.
She is dead. Even you must know of her. She was Sarah Hawkins.
The painter? Yes.
Well.
The police accuse her of killing her
Very
family.
Cthulhu-esque.
They
It
all
always
died
starts with a
in fire.
painter, doesn't it?
Sarah, her
The
husband,
creative types
and Simon, my
are
grandson.
most affected in the original story.
Woman who was already dead.
Find out the truth. They
You
say
say she was
I
mad.
know that's a lie. She would
Do
never
you
have
now?
done such a thing.
But if you have no proof,
I've brought all that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Look. I want you to look carefully at this painting.
It's a very modern style painting, don't you think?
Come to mind.
Looks more like a concept art for a video game than a painting painted in the 1920s.
what am I supposed to find?
Tell me if this is the work of madness. Or if, on the contrary, you manage to detect some logic, a rationality to follow so that I may understand it.
Probably the wrong thing to be looking for in art.
Yes, please.
All right. I'll look at your picture.
Well, let's look at this
That's
picture,
all
shall
you've
we?
got? The painting?
A painting?
I placed a file
painting.
on your desk. It contains everything I have on the affair.
Well. Guess it's going to be a noir mystery.
A warehouse on Darkwater.
Mm-hmm.
Some sketches of the Hawkins family.
Mm-hmm.
Rather thin.
Alright. Some of it is unreadable. Part of the address, Warehouse 36. Passed out in the dining room, claimed the whole family. The police decided on a domestic accident, but they, nevertheless, insist Sarah Hawkins' mental frailty. Interesting. A press cutting. An article written about the marriage of Sarah and Charles Hawkins, a businessman from the Isle of Darkwater. They live in a recluse life with their only son, Simon. Interesting. Not much, really. Now let's look at this painting, shall we?
Its strange beauty isn't enough to hide the feeling of dread it carries.
I
So,
would say.
Mr. Pierce, what do you make of these elements?
Mhm.
The sender's label
Just
mentions
Warehouse 36.
That's right. It came with Sarah's last painting.
And you think your daughter could have been the sender?
That is what you must find out. Go to Darkwater. Find Warehouse 36.
I shall.
You must tell me if what the police suggest about the mental state of your daughter is true.
No. Sarah had visions. Everyone knew that.
I suppose that's more
She never
acceptable in the
would
1920s.
fly.
Visions is definitely not so much acceptable these days unless you're in one of those mega churches or a cult.
What do you mean by that?
I never knew what she
Did they
meant by
exist
that.
back then?
My daughter was an
I don't think they
enigmatic
did.
figure, Mr. Pierce. You must find out the truth about her life
And
and
death.
death.
Right. Well, let's use
Her
this in
husband
bit.
was a big deal on the island.
Mm-hmm. The piece.
The police are sticking to the accident theory. Though they mentioned
Mhm.
Sarah's mental state was fragile. I believe you are right, sir.
So, cult on the
It's
island.
not as simple as it appears.
Killed the
I am
family.
aware of that. I believe
Well, the
there is
father
more
was
to
part
this
of the
case
cult
than
and
just an accident.
The wife tried to kill him to save the world, perhaps.
Darkwater.
Never heard of the place. Where
Never
is
heard of
that?
the place. Where is that?
It's a small, remote island off the coast of Boston.
Oh.
Sarah lived there with her son.
Sounds like a great place to get haunted by
I suppose you
fish
want to ship me
demons.
off there.
Darkwater
worshipping
holds a
some
secret regarding my
Terribly
daughter's
bastardized
life.
version of a Mesopotamian
We
god.
must uncover it.
What's the Babylonian god?
I think I'm beginning to understand.
Oh, is he
I'm
now?
willing to do anything for my
Oh, shut
daughter
up.
to recover her honor.
Quiet down.
Bidoo-doo-doo.
I'm on your side. Let's sum things up.
Ooh, some
An artist
old
dies.
detective work, eh, fellas?
Your only clue is a sort of promontory painting sent from Darkwater right before her death,
Correct. And the rumors about her supposed folly.
which you don't totally deny.
Find that warehouse. Find out the truth regarding Sarah Hawkins'
Mm-hmm,
death.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You'll be
All right.
handsomely compensated.
Ooh,
All right.
handsomely,
I'll
eh?
take the case.
I certainly would
I'll
like
go to
that.
Darkwater and look into the death of your daughter.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce. I didn't expect any less coming from
Oh,
that
come on, we were
person.
doing so well! You went
Something's
so
not
long
right.
without being snarky.
But it's not like I have a choice.
So long.
Darkwater. I think I've got a book on the North Atlantic. Darkwater is off the coast of Boston,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never heard of it. According to this book, it was often mentioned during whale hunting times at the end of the 19th century. But it seems to have been shunned since then.
Hmm. Interesting. My computer seems to be having a bit of trouble. Strange. Perhaps you'll hear that doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo sound a bit more. Yes, yes. Darkwater. Not scary at all. That's true, Ruba. It is the most ominous name for an island. Now, I wished I lived on a place called Darkwater. Imagine that. Old Eric from Darkwater. Wanders the night. Standing ever vigil. Oh, good evening, Tiberian. Good to see you back. We've really got the whole kit and caboodle today. All the old regulars have turned up. We're here playing old Call of Cthulhu. You read any of the books, Tiberian? Any of the H.P. Lovecraft stuff? Or any of the derivatives of such? I believe there was a video game, a few video games other than this one that have been inspired by it. Nope. I quite enjoyed them. I sat down and read them 2-3 years ago now. A fair few of his novels. I think you can get them for quite cheap on Kindle. They're not so easy to read anymore, but... Oh, I also watched a very funny video on them. I believe it was by a channel called Overly Sarcastic Productions. They have a very funny video, amusing video about H.P.
All I
Lovecraft.
have to do is go to the port.
Now,
I just hope that I can find a boat able to take me to Darkwater.
well, you should. There are people living on the damn island. I hope there's a place you can find. Ooh, I earned a point. How have you been since we last saw you, Tiberian? And I extend the question to everyone. How's everyone been since I've last talked to you all? Probably at least doing better than this old Edward Pierce fella. He doesn't seem to be doing well at all. Mostly alright? That's good. Just working mostly? Is that a good or a bad thing, mate? For me, I've just... Ooh, enter madness. Every time the loading screen finishes, we enter madness. Ooh. Ominous. Ooh, terrifying. Yes, I was just about to mention that. You're in Australia with me, so... Being employed is good. Well, I suppose we have to look at the silver linings. Focus Home Interactive. But yes, we've just come out of lockdown here in Australia. Well, in Queensland at least. And a few other states have come out of lockdown. But yes, that is a good thing, getting out of lockdown. Let's just hope it stays that way. Cyanide Studio. Sounds like the thing that most characters in H.P. Lovecraft's novels want to drink. Not the studio, the cyanide. Sunny one day, lockdown the next. Yes, unfortunately, we can't predict viruses like we can weather events. We can't even predict weather events very well. And that Fitzroy fellow looks kind of like a gangster. Why is this cinematic at like 30 frames? Call of Cthulhu. I'll have to get creative with the thumbnails for these series. That'll be nice. Cilia. Ah ha ha. The cilia. Interesting. Cilia, is that the one that's got tentacles and the head of a lion? Sort of like a fancy siren, except more terrifying. I believe. Or is it just an octopus? Not too sure. Can't even remember what it's from. Is it from one of the Greek classics?
Stay on board. There's guys coming to unload.
Alright. They don't like their shipmates getting off the boat.
Welcome to Darkwater Island, Mr. Pierce.
Mr. Pierce. That's several decades of smoking there.
So, what wind brought you?
A foul one.
Does the Hawkins case mean anything to you?
A sad story that we would all prefer to forget. Charles Hawkins may have been a landlubber, but he was a good man.
Oh, that's always suspicious.
And his wife, Sarah Hawkins.
A nice young woman, and a great painter. What a tragedy. You know what? Go have a drink at the Stranded Whale. What you need is a good pick-me-up.
My friend, you shouldn't probably be encouraging this man who has an alcohol addiction.
As for me, you'll find me at the Harbor Master's office. If it's the Hawkins family that brings you here, I have a pile of documents that should interest you.
Understood. I'm going for a look around the docks.
Let's meet the colourful characters of this tiny little town now. Is there a run button? Oh, there's a crouch button.
Let the police do their work. Hey, Sullivan. Can't you go any faster?
Oh, goodness.
The same goes for you, sir. Move along.
That's a scar and a half.
They seem to be very agitated about a dead animal.
You're telling me? These fools think that putting the whale back in the water will bring about the end of the world.
They're superstitious.
That is certainly an interesting correlation.
They only listen to Captain Fitzroy. And not always. And you. What brings you to our island?
Well, old Scarface.
Warehouse 36, Darkwater Harbor.
Dark things bring
I
me to
like
this
you,
island.
so I'll be frank with you. Don't go near the place. Don't try to get in.
Why?
Because I
Drugged
told
in?
you so.
Perhaps?
Learn to accept
These
some
small
friendly
islands can
now.
harbour quite the
allow
drug
me to do
trade
my
sometimes.
You can't understand.
Don't put that beast back in the water, you shysters. You're crazy.
They're cops. They can't understand.
Damn stupid.
The blood is just beginning to coagulate. It died a short time ago. Only a specialist would know what killed it.
You can't understand. You're not sailors.
You're not sailors. That was a weird way of delivering that line.
Something real bad.
Something real bad. Well, I suppose we'll make our way to the pub. Ooh. What is this? It's a bit ominous to have a storm lantern that... What's the random COVID for, Uber Ninja? Other than trying to... Well, I suppose I don't have any audience to begin with, so it's not like I can worry about... COVID is coming. Oh no. It feeds on whales, then on humans. Oh, thank you. Very kind. Ooh, that's a man who's drunk too much if I've seen one.
Hey, be careful.
Well. Ah, hello, Natsuki. How have you been? How have you been?
Let's get him another drink. He's dry.
Don't worry. Bro and so work. So is nice, though. Thank you.
You saw what happened. He's the troublemaker.
Oh, you're a true mainlander. A real princess.
Yes, and I should be referred to as such, thank you.
La-di-da ways, and then as soon as the pressure rises, you start squealing. You don't have what it takes to drink my whiskey. You've got to earn it.
I'm here for information.
It's a bit of a shame, Natsuki.
I prefer it that
But
way.
I'm glad you're doing well
Speak then.
otherwise.
I reserve the right to answer or not.
I didn't expect to find alcohol on this island. What's the
Oh, I
source?
haven't played much. We've just started. We're about
Our
40
source of
minutes in.
supply wouldn't like me to
Just started,
betray
mate.
them to the first comer.
I'll tell nobody.
She'd know it anyway. Anything else?
So, we're just starting our little adventure into this dark little hovel of a town. Yes,
Do you know where this place is?
I'm still new.
Darkwater Harbor.
I'm quite interested to see where this goes.
I see, yeah. If I were you, I wouldn't hang around there.
What's wrong with this warehouse?
First off, there are rumors.
Oh,
Sailors from around here say you can hear noises coming from the warehouse at night. Screams, that sort of thing.
oh, cursed warehouse. Wonderful.
That's not
That or
all.
it's still a drug den and there's
There's
somebody
the
being
fate of
murdered in there.
owners and all the superstitions that go with it. But
Interesting.
I'll say no more.
Will you now?
Anything else?
Well, let's just ask about Darkwater, I suppose. Sarah
What can you
Hawkins.
tell me about it?
We all knew she was famous on the mainland
Mm-hmm.
for her paintings. Never understood why.
Don't worry, I've never understood it either.
I don't want to speak ill of the dead.
Well, that's true. Everyone on the island is probably a member of some sort of cult. This is Call of Cthulhu, after all. Though Call of Cthulhu was about a worldwide, global spanning cult, rather than a tiny cult in one single area. For a cult in one single area, you'd want to read Shadow over Innsmouth, I think. That's the one with Dagon. And his little cult of fish people.
Her style made her famous. How would you describe it?
Tortured.
Tortured?
Yeah, well, it wasn't normal. I mean, for a young woman with a child and all that. We saw them in the papers and we said to ourselves, who can paint such things? Is that how she sees the world?
Ah, some very deep
so they
thoughts,
made you
mate.
feel uncomfortable.
You need to see them for yourself. Make up your own mind.
That is very artistic. Clearly you know what you're talking about, mate.
Her vision. Was it so terrible?
The way I see it, the truth is really a question of point of view.
What do you mean by that?
Do you still trust the truth after a bottle of whiskey?
That is a good point. I wasn't expecting such
I've got
eloquence.
what I need.
Anything else?
No. I do curious to know.
Stranded whale. I guess this bar has been here a long time.
No, just a stranded whale
tell
rocked up
ya.
yesterday.
I'm a nostalgic sort of guy. The name, it reminds us of the golden age of Darkwater.
Darkwater. Well, the accent really came out there.
Sweating and stinking of the oil and
Fishing the whales.
Hunting.
It was
Can't
a
do
tough
that sort of thing these days.
Ah, but steeped in glory. We've never known such wealth since then.
It is the case with many small towns, unfortunately.
That'll be all for now.
Now. Ah, sea shanties.
You like our song?
We're true sirens.
Sirens for someone. Everyone has their siren.
That's true. It's a reminder of the time when we were still fishing for whales off Darkwater Island.
I thought they'd call it Darkwater Isle. It sounds much better, doesn't it? But I suppose it's a difference in naming.
They all disappeared.
You exhausted the stocks.
You could say that, yes. There were fewer and fewer of them.
Until the last, the biggest.
The one of the miraculous catch.
Exactly.
I've never heard this song before.
Only
Interesting.
people from here know it. It tells the story of the miraculous catch.
It's a
Ooh.
local legend?
Sounds
Watch
very
what you say, young man.
Shadow of
That
Innsmouth.
catch saved our island.
Ah. Where's the proof?
Without it, the
Oh,
whole
dear,
of
dear, dear.
Darkwater would have died of hunger in 1847.
It's true. Everything happened just as it says in the newspaper report.
Perhaps back then the newspaper
One
reports were a
that's
bit more
framed
useful.
Right behind you.
Oh,
Our grandparents tasted its flesh.
oop, dear,
And
sorry.
it was delicious.
Yes, it does feel a bit like they're all voiced by the same
Bid you
person.
Farewell.
But it
Good
is,
night,
from what I've heard,
stranger.
So long.
how friendly. But, what was I saying? Yes, it is a bit, based on the, table. Yes, we all know where it's going to go. It is a Lovecraftian based game, but it's based on the D&D style tabletop thing, pen and paper RPG, I believe. Not necessarily the book itself or the stuff. It's based on the thing that was inspired by those things. So Call of Cthulhu, the pen and paper RPG. So them all being voiced by one guy would make sense. For that one guy would be our dungeon master, or whatever Call of Cthulhu's equivalent of was. You never know, maybe it's a clever cinematic choice, and not a mistake or a lack of funds. At least, if that's not the excuse they made for it, they're doing something wrong. They should hire me.
The miraculous catch. Apparently, the most significant event of the last 80 years.
Oh, I keep forgetting him in the 1920s. 84. We've given up hope. The crew of the Cilia, or remains of it, returned to Darkwater late on Tuesday afternoon. Locals immediately rushed to the docks to welcome the last whaling ship on the island. Amazed at the sight of the unbelievable catch the brave vessel had brought. Here the weatherman comes, tea and rum. That's just what it's reminding me of. That old song, The Wellerman. People were amazed by the sight of the unbelievable. Ah. You know, I've had a bit of experience with D&D, but I can't say I've ever played any of the Mansions of Madness and all the other tabletop RPGs made by the various fellows. I do want to get into that sort of thing. It seems like quite a bit of fun. But, of course, it's a bit more difficult these days, and I do prefer my board games to be done in person than online, but we can only do what we can do. Amazed at the sight of the unbelievable catch, the brave of the size that went beyond that of the formidable toothed whales, the Cretacean that is already being called the miraculous catch, covered the whole dock. Cretacean? Whereas hanging over the sides of the ship, the surviving sailors told a frightening account of their perilous catch, but also of its meat, unmatched in its quality, plentiful and nutritious benefits. Ooh, wow, magical! It is miraculous. Numerous inhabitants of the Darkwater feed themselves, bringing an end to the famine from which the part of the island was suffering. Warehouse for rent. Special word evening at the stranded whale. Ah, interesting. There are professional DMs who work entirely online these days. Cetacean. Cetacean. Interesting. Thank you for that, Uber Ninja. Very kind. Yes. I'd wonder. I'll have to go check it out. Speaking of, I've started up my tutor for Japanese has finally been able to get back to tutoring. So I'll be starting those up again this week too. How exciting. It's nice to get back into something. I feel a bit bad about losing track of my Japanese. Feels a bit like, yes. Now. Oh, member of the staff asylum. There's an asylum on this island. Of course there's an asylum on this island. Where would the where else would the mainland Bostonites send their sick, maimed, and hysterical, in inverted commas? The shock. This dude.
Nightmares. Can hear
Wow.
thousand voices whispering. Will follow its reader and appear in various locations, gifted with its own consciousness.
I don't know why it's getting so confused. I'll have to check that. Look at this fellow. If this man is not a member of a cult, then I don't know who a member of a cult is. Look at this man. Either he's a cult member or some sort of painted man-esque demon hunter. Good series of books, by the way. The Painted Man. Quite serious. Wouldn't suggest anyone under 18 reads them, though. Quite serious. But yes. Look at this man. Watch him being the only sane one here. I know, right? He's probably written all these symbols all over himself to keep him sane. Give me a moment. I'm going to hide myself. And fix what the hell's buzzing. Give me a moment. I will just mute myself a moment. Give me a moment. Okay, fellas, I'm back, and hopefully it will stop doing that. Watch it continue, as they say. Now, well, back to the game. Where was I? Ah, yes, that's right. Demon Hunter Cursed Man. Look at him. Interesting.
That's it.
What's it, mate?
We should let him take it. No,
Cthulhu
the
Intensives.
risks are too high. It's a book, after all.
Pure knowledge. Also, that's a very nice name. I love this fellow's name. Algerian Drake. I wish I had a name that cool. Edward Pierce is incredibly basic. Hello. Oh, here's our femme fatale of the game. Couldn't be a game in the 1920s without one of those.
What you looking at, stranger?
I've rarely seen a woman who can hold her liquor so confidently.
Wasn't expecting it to be that rare, but...
It was a compliment.
So, let me drink.
It appears
stranger.
so. Some terrible, Shoggoth-like creature is going to be found bursting out of my graphics card tomorrow. And it won't just be terribly melted plastic with my computer set on fire. But it could be. Clearly this woman doesn't wish to speak to me. That's fair enough, that was a bit strong. One shouldn't comment on somebody else's ability to hold their liquor.
Not that again. She will get us into trouble.
I know.
You're supplying a member of the thing with drugs? Jeez. Oh, goodness. Shoggoth sounds like a British slur. I suppose it does. Now I think about it, you are correct, Uber Ninja. Oi, mate. Shoggoth! Oi, bruv. Shoggoth, mate. That went very Australian halfway through that sentence.
Beat it.
And
I
I'm
told you to beat.
persistent, if nothing else. Most of the, old, Shoggoth, you chummy blighter. Not very good at the British accent. I have to talk to a British person.
That'll be all for now.
I am just going to leave it at that because I do not want to order a drink. I'm trying to keep this man sober for the whole game.
It's just a joke around here.
Doing good things, helping a man life. Oh yes, it does suit you fine, but it does not suit me fine. I'm all for the responsible service of alcohol. I couldn't possibly I couldn't possibly leave it on my conscience that I allowed an alcoholic to further his terrible and damaging addiction.
This isn't your home, you bunch of sand crabs. We go where we want.
Nothing for you here either.
Get us into trouble.
Beat it.
You're already in trouble.
Oh, jeez. Suppose we'll have to go to the fellow in the harbour master's office. Goodness, this place looks tragic. Never seen a town quite so sickly green. Not really the colour you want to describe in your town. Now,
I've brought out the Charles Hawkins cargo manifests. They're on the table next to you. But in truth, you're likely to be disappointed. When you're done, come join me on the deck.
I see.
These manifests are signed by Charles
That was a
Hawkins.
bit loud.
But that's all I'll get from them.
Alright.
The Scylla. It finished up beached at the entrance to the harbor. A souvenir from a more
Prosperous era.
I guess this blackboard hasn't been wiped for more than 70 years. Fishing equipment. Could do with some rust remover.
Delicious. The loo! The old porcelain throne. Oh, thank you. Learned some medicine by reading a book. Now I wish that was really how it worked. I wouldn't have had to study for 3 years to not become a paramedic. Well,
This man.
study for 3 years, become a paramedic for a very short time, and then not bother with it. Captain
What a
Fitzroy.
macabre souvenir.
I always thought it was macabre, but be not I to judge the pronunciation of this Bostonite, I suppose. Doesn't have quite the accent I expected. But I suppose it's hard to sound grizzled with a very, very excitable Bostonite accent. No. Oh, Tiberian, have you ever met any of the Bostonites? Dealt with that accent before? Is it really as strong as they say?
From here, I see everything that goes on in the harbor. The hard-working lives of my sailors, the fights at the stranded whale.
Can you see
Even
the fights at the
antics
stranded
of these
whale?
wharf rats don't escape me.
Never
It's you who
personally.
lays down
Yeah.
the law around here.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
I've met a few
I'm
Bostonites.
just the
Very
last
classic
second
accents
captain
they
on
had.
Darkwater. Tell me what I can
Same with the
do.
Canadians I've met too. I suppose accents. Accents for a reason.
Your manifests have been blacked out. They're totally unreadable.
Yeah, I saw that. I've got no idea who did it or why. I don't remember having countersigned anything special enough for someone to hide it.
And why obliterate the dates, as well as the goods stored in the warehouse?
You mean that the dates have some meaning?
Likely.
I'm surprised Charles Hawkins had goods to store, knowing that whaling stopped in 1847.
I see that you're interested in the history of our island.
I'm
Indeed,
interested in a lot of
maritime
things.
Activities ceased altogether at the end of the last century. I imagine that the Hawkins family had other types of contracts.
But you don't know what
Oh, do they?
No, it was none of my business.
The other side of the family is from New Jersey, and they all have strong accents. Interesting. I think I would recognize a New Jersey accent if I heard it, but I couldn't say I can recall it from the top of my head, just like I can recall the Boston one. The one I always remember is the Boston, which is kind of rude, but
I'm looking for Warehouse 36. Do you know where it is?
But yes, the New Jersey
It's
accent.
right there. The
Definitely heard it.
warehouse is opposite the jetty. You can't miss it.
Unfortunately, all my family either have,
Know who the
well,
building belongs
most of them have Australian accents. It's a New York City accent, really. Fair enough. I'll take your word for it. But, yeah, as most of my family, Australian, or the different flavours of Australian. Rural Australian, city Australian, educated Australian, and mumble so much you can't even understand them Australian.
It belonged to the Hawkins family.
Precisely. Ship owners from father to son.
I think that somebody here...
Well, I do have
wanted
some
me to search
cousins or
these
so
wares.
over in England, and they probably have some fairly English accents. Similar to Boston, but not the same. I say, I'm walking here. Again, I only know the jokes about the accents. It's hard to recall accents, and I'm not very good at them, except for the various flavours of Australian accent. And one of them you wouldn't understand, because it's kind of like... There we go. That's genuinely how some people speak. God only knows what they're saying. God knows, and everyone around them seems to know, but I'm the only one who seems not to be in the clue. In the know.
I was looking at your photograph. The one of the man in front of the boat.
Ah, yes, I can see the one you're talking about.
Interesting resemblance.
Yes,
I thought
it
was
is.
you, but it was a wooden leg.
And
It
for
is
good
Australian.
reason. That's my father.
It's just
in the
very difficult to
photograph.
understand.
Your father.
John Fitzroy, captain of the Scylla. His wooden leg is here. You can go and see it if you're interested.
Now, why is my iPod, the iPhone I use for my camera, being so
I'm
annoying?
just back from the wharves. The dead killer whale is unsettling the sailors.
Ah, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Us men of the sea are superstitious folk.
Indeed.
Killer whales don't have
Of
many known predators.
predators.
That's true. And normally, they're not found around here.
You make a good
But,
point.
You're gonna take me for a fool.
Give
Knock
it a
me
try.
out.
Have you heard about the depths? Trenches that plunge into the earth and that shelter creatures unlike any other.
Oh,
We're
is this
talking
their
about
understanding about the Marianas
Ah,
Trench?
Indeed, you're right.
The police took the decision to put the killer whale back into the sea.
You've got to understand them. They didn't know what to do with it.
I
Why
think
put
that
it
was a
back in the
mistake.
sea?
Who says that whatever caused those wounds is no longer in these waters?
You think we should have kept it?
To look into the real cause of its death, at least.
Shame we have no biologists on the island. Or...
The miraculous catch.
Yes, marine biologists, I
local
suppose. I don't
legend?
even know if marine biologists
Not
would
at
have existed
all.
in the 1920s.
It's an episode.
Probably
from
still
our
be
glorious
naturalists and
past.
scientists
Go
as a
read the
title.
story of the sailor's return to Darkwater Harbor. It's displayed on a wall of the stranded whale.
I shall be on my way.
So come back and see me when you've got
Find
something
something new. Okay. Ooh, character points. I wonder if I can spend them on becoming better at psychology. Yes. I'm certified smart boy. Smart fellow over here. Can I walk any far? Oop. There is a sprint button, fellows. I've found it.
They can't understand.
I've gained the ability to run.
What could have done so much damage?
You can't understand. You're not sailors.
You're not sailors. Now. Let's talk to these
You live
fellas.
here?
Why did you do that, huh?
We saw what you did to St. Brendan.
Yeah, we'll teach you to come onto our island and ridicule our protectors.
I have no idea what you fellas are talking about. You've had one too many whiskeys. Now you can't discern truth.
How can I be the one who defaced your saint? I've just come ashore, you idiots.
That's true. We're as drunk as lords.
You bet. You could have gone by without us seeing you.
Do not rile me. You can hardly stand up.
Ooh, Ryle.
He's right.
Interesting.
We're no match. For the moment.
Well, sober up and
Your
try it
noise
again.
is understandable.
There's you, our beloved statue, and then those two bozos behind us. Wait, now that I think about it, it's got to be them. There's one of them who's always going back and forth to the statue.
Quieter. That's all
I hate
we
it when I
need for
rile.
them to
Yeah.
hear us.
It's usually when somebody riles
To
you.
dark water.
Riles you up. It's like pumping someone up, except far more negative and likely to end in a fist. Well, actually, no. pumping someone up and riling someone up are both as likely to end in a fist fight, probably. It's just one's usually in the more specific context of pumping it up for a fight. What the bloody hell is making that? This keeps disconnecting and reconnecting. It's the damn phone. Why is the phone doing that? Perhaps that's why I'm lagging. Maybe that cord's finally dying. That'd be a shame. Have to get a new one.
That statue represents your local saint.
What do you mean by local, exactly?
You wouldn't be looking down at us like all townspeople do.
St. Brendan. He protected whalers and fishermen like us.
Yeah, it's good to see Catholicism was on this island.
Peculiar house.
Yeah, that's where we live. Our boat.
It's not because it doesn't float anymore that we're going to abandon it.
Well, there's something to that.
We got nothing better to do anyway.
That is the case in most small towns. I worked in a small town for a while that had a real problem with alcoholism.
Again, but since the whaling station shut down, ain't a lot of jobs left around here.
So we drink.
Where do you even get the money to drink, frankly?
The two guys behind you. What are they driving?
The bootleggers. Scum.
They're protecting their territory. From whom, I wonder?
They really don't have a choice anyway. They're more scared of cat than an attack.
Yes, fisherman was quite a strong motif, especially in the New Testament of the Bible. Most of the apostles of Jesus, I believe, were fishermen of a kind. Of a kind. They were fishermen, most of them, and Jesus did that whole fish me breakfast thing, and also 3 loaves and 2 fishes to feed the 5,000 thing. So yes, fishermen and the such are very important in the New Testament, at least. As a motif, more than anything else. And, other than that, yeah, there's a saint for everything. Well, no, there has to be a saint for everything. Saint Brendan was likely some 15th century monk that had some kind of tentative connection to sailors and did some sort of miracle. Goodness. Jesus is Kathy. Good old Cthulhu himself. St. Brendan, Cthulhu. That fellow we saw at the beginning? Probably St. Brendan, Cthulhu.
This cat you mentioned. Is she their boss?
Hold on just a minute. We didn't tell you a thing.
Nothing at all.
No, not a word, not a word. I suppose I should go talk to that lady at the bar again, shouldn't I? Delicious you mean. I'll leave you fellas alone.
Enough of your time.
We'll see you later.
No. Let's run over and see if we can't. Actually, maybe we'll annoy these fellows first. Annoy this fellow? Can we talk to him? Yes, we can.
Where do you think you're going? Who are these others so interested in the warehouse?
And why would I tell you?
Officer Andrews, hey! Officer Andrews. I know a fair few people called Andrew. I have a brother-in-law called Andrew, you see. It's a very common name over here. St. Brendan is immortal and still alive somehow. His miracle, you have to do 3 miracles to become a saint. His 3 miracles were bring a lot of fish, save a heap of fishermen from a storm with prayer, and become physically and mentally immortal for all time and until the end of existence. That's his 3 miracles. Church was like, oh, there you go, canonized him.
You and I are on the same side of...
Oh, yeah?
You don't want to know the truth behind this case.
Are you saying our work was not up to snuff? Forget it.
Damn.
I'm not here to... Edward Pierce.
Private detective.
Sorry, we're all a little on edge today. What are you doing here?
I'm investigating the death of the Hawkins family.
Darn it. Why do you want to drag up all that stuff again?
What is wrong with the animation of his bottom jaw?
That case was closed months ago.
And his lip.
What more can you say about the death of the Hawkins family?
Not much more than what everyone knows. I wasn't on the case. They were all burnt to death, right? Up at their place.
The whole mansion went up in flames.
Don't get it into your head to go wandering around up there. It's
delicious.
Dangerous.
What do you mean by that?
The only one left there is old Silas, and the accident has affected him badly. He can be unpredictable, especially if a stranger starts
Just
poking
delicious
around the
water.
property.
Delicious,
Is he a
delicious
danger
fruit.
to the public?
No, he's in his own home. Do yourself a favor.
See that thing on his lower jaw? You see it? Lower jaw's so strange. What's wrong with it? Oh well. Just gonna try something. Hopefully that'll fix the camera. Now, I'm gonna see if we can't talk to Kat. See if we can't get her to, you know, just let us into the warehouses. Hey, Kat.
What? Another break?
One of those damn sailors came looking for trouble again.
But he won't try again anytime soon. We gave him a good hiding.
Ooh,
So
good
you
hiding.
said to yourselves that after such a feat, you could abandon your post.
It's just a little drink. We taught those guys a lesson.
We'll return right after. It's just that standing guard in this alley makes your throat dry.
That fool Fitzroy can't keep his dogs on a leash.
I'll have to send him.
Well, I suppose it's time for me to go find that, Hoy Toida. Ah, I found a really unique American accent. Look up Hoy Toida on YouTube. I'll make sure I try. I've heard quite a few unique accents that have a mix of American in them. I had an old history teacher that had a very unique accent. That was a mix of American, Australian, and Ethiopian.
You saw what happened. Don't hang around here unless...
This where?
No doubt a question of territory, but I ain't asking.
Fair enough.
You want to know more, go ask the captain.
Good. Thank you. I shall take...
A font of knowledge, that fella. Oh, who would need a car in a place like this? Goodness. Ooh, but yes, that history teacher. They grew up, they had quite the... A madman. That is true. A madman would want a car in a place like this. You could barely drive the thing straight. You'd sink into the earth immediately. But I digress. History teacher is what I was talking about. With a unique accent. He was an Australian... He was born to two Australians who were missionaries in Ethiopia. And he lived there for a while, quite a while. He could speak the language of the land. And he was taught in an American-led international school over there. He had this very bizarre accent, very unique. I can hear it in my head now, but I could never replicate it. It's such a mix. Let's talk to this lassie.
I told you to be.
Okay, she doesn't want to talk to me. See if I can't convince these fellows to get out of my way. Get to this warehouse. Let's head down to St. Brendan, actually. I think that history teacher was a Catholic, actually. Was he a Protestant? I can't remember. Oh dear, this is a health and safety hazard. You're liable to put your foot through the damn place. Wow. That's certainly not normal vandalism.
St. Brendan. Patron saint of sailors and travelers.
Interesting.
Desecrated. I can't even say which language it's written in.
The Navigator. Ah. I was wrong. I said 15th century. Seems he was a 5th to 6th century fella. A shame. Well, we can't be right all the time. I wonder what his miracles were. And I wonder if he's a real saint or one created for this game alone. What's this? Looks like something we climbed up to. Oh well. Perhaps this fellow doesn't have the capability of climbing. Oh, this guy's just fishing. Casually. That algae-ridden sea, it appears. Can't be rubbish.
Who's this guy?
No idea. You better keep it shut. What's with you, Wander?
We saw you. Go die of thirst.
Let's try eloquence.
Gentlemen,
What?
your boss is...
Oh, yeah?
She said those knuckleheads are...
Darn it.
You think he's telling the truth?
We'll find out. Prove that you really know Cat.
Well, I've rarely seen any...
Everyone.
That just proves that you... Go on, beat it.
Damn.
What's with you?
We saw... Go die.
I've got to enter the Hawkins warehouse.
Sorry for skipping through that,
Guess it's gonna be
but
complicated.
No.
I'm
very
impatient
simple, in
sometimes.
fact.
I don't give a damn about
About
your
your
racket.
racket.
I just want to get into this warehouse.
Now, we don't give a damn about you. Whatever your reason for wanting inside, there's nothing we can do for you.
Damn.
I bid you...
Gentlemen, a farewell.
If I can't get rid of those two, I'll have to look for another way.
How could you be dumb enough to leave the entrance to the warehouses unguarded?
Keep your voice down. Why not go and shout at the cat while you're at it? I don't want to end up with her little knife under my throat.
It's a stiletto, you idiot. And with that smell on your breath, I don't give you much chance anyway.
Interesting. Now they've been talking about this unguarded part, but I don't know where it would be. Where would this unguarded part of the warehouse be, eh? Ooh. I have leaning buttons. Doing my scratches. Hoot! 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 Gotta keep limber. Especially after drinking so much the night before and having terrible visions of things unknown. One must keep limber. Now, what do these fellows want?
We're no longer at home on our own island.
Calm down. It's not worth the effort.
I told him, that flunky, that he'll see what a real sailor has in his belly.
You're back again.
Indeed I am.
What can I do for you?
Apparently the bootleggers don't want anyone hanging around the warehouses.
They're part of the private property I mentioned earlier.
And yet the place looks abandoned. Why guard the entrance?
As a precaution, I suppose. All the warehouses are more or less interconnected by old sewers.
You mean that there's a way to go from one to the other by tunnel?
I couldn't tell you if it's still the case today for all the warehouses on the island, but I think I
How
can
very
imagine
interesting.
what you've got in mind. You can always visit them if you're not the claustrophobic type.
Well, not so much. I am a bit claustrophobic. But I could figure something out, I'm sure. So where are these old sewers, I wonder? Wouldn't be a video game without a sewer level. You are correct, Tiberian. You are correct indeed. Really wouldn't be one without a sewer level. Very dramatic lighthouse. Can't stay away from video games. Suppose it's the classic thing. Everyone always has this sort of weirdly romantic view of what a sewer is. Everyone wants to travel into them. No. I wonder if I could acquire some alcohol for the fellows here to make them start a fight. That seems like something you could do, right?
Nightmares. Can hear things and voices whispering.
I told you to beat it.
Yes, I really said the wrong thing to her, didn't I?
You again.
What do you know about...
If I were you, I wouldn't...
Why not?
First hail is
Yeah. Okay, we've already had this conversation.
Captain Fitz...
Oh, yeah? That must have been...
Oh, come on. Because of a little tussle.
Drinking it here is a privilege. Anything else?
Damn, I can't even get a drink.
I read the article on the miraculous catch. Interesting local folklore.
Don't get it into your head to repeat that round here. It's more than folklore.
More than folklore.
On that day, the crew of the Scylla caught an exceptional catch.
Goodness, my back.
The biggest whale ever caught. And they saved Darkwater from famine.
They really say Darkwater quite strangely, don't they?
What can you tell me about it?
We all knew then.
You don't dare say a thing because you respect their memory. But that doesn't mean that you don't have a lot on your mind.
You're not a PI for nothing. Okay. I don't know what it's worth.
Psychological investigator.
But Mrs. Hawkins, she went to see her doctor.
Good.
She was sick.
I shouldn't have mentioned it to you. Forget it.
Right.
I've got what I need.
Anything?
What can you tell
We all then.
I've got.
Right here.
That'll be all.
Now, where can I go from here? Already talked to the police. We've already talked to those fellas. How do we make our way into Warehouse 36? Access to the sewers, perhaps. And where would we find that? Can't see anywhere there would be a manhole cover. Table's blocking that. Car's blocking this. And look at these houses. Look like something out of Alice in Wonderland. Goodness. Oh, there we are. Missed the open door.
This tunnel goes under the warehouses.
Interesting. There we are.
This ratchet device seems to be usable.
Interesting. Now, where to use it? Suppose up the ladder. Bit of a weird way of climbing ladders, but very smooth. This man has some true arms and leg strength.
Old winch to lift the grating.
Now, how does one ratchet something? Oh, I suppose I have to find the other half of the ratchet device. Down we go. Didn't realise there was more parts to this thing. There we are, the winch.
This handle will be perfect for the winch.
Perfect. Wow, he said so. Sounded like he was making a meal. This oregano go perfectly with this meal. Don't you think? That's the kind of tone he had. Like he was about to put it together and go, chef's kiss. Could I... Perhaps... Oh. Am I still missing a part? Goodness. The rate we're going. Barely get into this warehouse before the 2 hours is up. Not 2 hours. We'll see. Could push a bit further if I want to. Ah. Well.
It should be possible to mount this cogwheel on the winch.
Is that it? Yes, it is. How the hell did I turn that light on, by the way? Yes, it is an odd set. Odd way of saying it, that's for sure.
Looks like everything is in its place. All I have to do is turn this handle.
And deal with the rust that would most certainly permeate everything in a salty area like this place. Yes, an odd way of saying it indeed. Because, well, maybe he was saying it like that because look at this warehouse, it's full of broken winches and stuff, so perhaps he was thinking there was more than one part to it. One set of parts to it. It is the 1920s. It perhaps didn't have as specific... Oh, goodness. Didn't have a specific, oh dear. This is a terrible decision.
I hope it's not.
Indeed, I do too. What was I saying? But yes, the 1920s may not have a very specific way of making each tool that may have been more haphazard than before. Let's hope the smoke is lighter than water. Well, lighter than water. Lighter than air, so it goes up and doesn't asphyxiate us. And also, I just realized how bold of a move that was for that man to... Oh dear. Oh dear. Rightio. I think I found the cellar. Am I... Oh, I'm alive! Well... Yes, he was very brave to light a lighter in a well of what appeared to be perhaps whale oil that's letting off a gas that smells terrible and is hard to breathe. Sounds like a recipe for a very, very large gas explosion. It'll be one of the very few times in media involving supernatural things where a gas explosion was actually the real cause of everything.
This is...
primitive. Indeed. Clearly there was natives on this island. Wouldn't surprise me, there were a fair few natives on the islands around America. But yes, a very brave man to light gas. Goodness. Well...
Ugh, this place stinks.
And the last one didn't?
What is the connection between this place and the Sarah Hawkins case?
What is this, some kind of detective vision or something? Oh no! So this is how our inspector is being haunted by the nightmares of Cthulhu. He's not only a PI, the man has precognitive or clairvoyant abilities. He's some kind of seer.
Someone treasures this crumpled picture to the point of sleeping with it.
Interesting.
Is
An attractive fellow, I suppose.
Hawkins' paintings?
No, there's more I can do.
It smells as bad as it looks. Who has enough money to buy painkillers, but stays in a place like this? Can't sleep. I know how that feels.
We all do. We all do. Ooh, clearly didn't like their own face. Perhaps it was Mr. Spaghetti Man over there.
Here?
Spaghetti Man? That was a weird way of saying that. Doesn't the man look sort of like a ravioli packet that's been stuck on... A ravioli that's been stuck on someone's face? Actually, no, when I'm looking at it, he looks more like a melted piece of cheese. From a distance. Ravioli. I suppose we found all the clues. It's time to use our magical abilities to reconstruct what happened. Damn. Sanity. Now, where should I use these 2 points? I suppose I could use it for spot hidden. That should be useful. I'll keep myself as a bit of an all-rounder. It's always the trouble I've had with games. Games that allow me to upgrade things. I've played a few of them before. The Souls series being one of them. I've always been such a person who loves his... I love being versatile, but I know that's not how you're supposed to play these things. Where's my diary? Clues. There we are. Used since Charles Hawkins' death, this warehouse has recently housed a clandestine resident. Signs of life attest to the fact. The presence of blood-stained bandages also must be noted, probably removed from a wound, as well as pills, painkillers, and sleeping pills. Moreover, the occupant seems to be obsessed with Sarah Hawkins, as attested by the presence of several documents connected to the artist's life. Photograph, cutting press. Interesting. This discovery of a partly charred painting, recognized by Officer Bradley as having come from the Hawkins mansion, that allows all doubts to be lifted as to the link between the contents of this building and the Hawkins case. We talked to the Officer Bradley? Alright. Did we talk to him about something like that? Rightio. Perhaps it's that old Silas, or whatever his name was, the man who lived in the old place.
Someone has settled in here.
Oh dear.
And whoever it is has something to tell me about the Hawkins case. Is there anyone in there?
It is I.
Don't move. You again. I told you to stay away from this warehouse.
To threaten. Goodness. No, maybe we were supposed to have this event before we looked at our diary.
You seem like a competent officer. We should help each other.
You're trying to manipulate me, Mr. Pierce. I hate to be taken for a fool.
Damn.
All right, Inspector Lestrade. Let me take a more direct approach. Can you explain what this painting is doing here?
Yeah, see, I think we were meant to not instantly go into our
I know it. It was in the Hawkins
character
mansion when we came to investigate the
profile,
fire.
perhaps.
So you confirm that it was removed from the crime scene. Interesting. I'd like to go and see the mansion now.
Of course. You want to go back along his trail?
Once we get to the mansion, perhaps.
I'd like to understand how this painting made it to here.
We'll see.
Come on.
We'll see.
My car's parked down the way.
Oh, so it was his car.
Andrews, would you please shut the door? And open your eyes, damn it. This guy went right under your nose.
Interesting indeed.
God damn it. Her again.
Why is her walking animation seem
This
so
case
strange?
has nothing to do with you, Baker. Clear the passage or I'll shut you up for obstruction.
Officer Bradley.
Dear.
You've finally grown a pair. Too bad you're too fat to see them down there.
Ooh.
Why,
Now
you-
that was a
Come
good
on.
one.
Keep the smile. You don't want to force me to
I like
widen
this lady.
Okay, I get it. Can we go to the mansion now?
Who the hell are you?
Also, it seems like some sort of
What were you
weird tension
doing
between
on
these
my
two.
turf?
On your
I've got
turf,
my
eh?
eye on you. We'll meet again.
Will we now?
Is it far, this mansion?
Are you
Look
going to
behind
answer?
At the top of the ridge.
I'm not too sure, actually. I haven't actually looked up about
See
the
the
game. I
building?
just knew it came into existence. I remember hearing about it back in the E3 of
That's the
2017, I think. I was
Come on. We got some driving.
being told by my nephew who was watching the E3 presentations as he was studying for uni. He kept commenting on them as he was living nearby at the time. Used to have come over for dinner occasionally and he'd talk about the stuff that was being released. It's quite interesting. And I watched E3 a couple of times myself. But yes, that's the only reason I knew about this game, and it's been on my mind ever since, really. Entering Madness. Was it this game that has the dog fellow? Or is that a different one? A different, Cthulhu, Lovecraftian-inspired horror game? I remember having a dog fellow. Like a fellow with just a straight-up dog's head. Don't know why I said it like that, that was a strange way. Just an entire dog's head. Or gorilla? I'm not too sure, it was very weird. I think I found that one.
Well, here we are. Hawkins Mansion.
Oh, it is quite the grand place, isn't it? Goodness.
The place has been abandoned since the fire. There's only old Winchester in his hut.
Oh. Hope he's not related to Winchester.
You're the one who looked after the Hawkins case.
Don't think
The
I
gun
was trying to
makers,
hide
I
it.
mean.
It's just that this discovery shakes my convictions.
That's why you're so keen to find out who removed the painting from the mansion.
Yes. If something escaped us, or if there's been a law enforcement error.
What a good guy.
it's up
Seems
the
to be a
police
good
make
fellow.
its mistake.
Good officer, this
Anything
one.
else?
Bit brash, but...
Your partner, Andrews, warned me against him.
You managed to get something out of that bomb? I'll end up asking you for advice.
He talks too
Well,
much. He inferred that old Silas was slightly unhinged.
That's not far off the mark, I suppose. But kinda unfair at the same time. You know, Silas Winchester has been working for the Hawkins family as far back as I can remember. Charles was like a son to him. The day of the fire, he lost his whole family. So he's got nowhere to go.
Tragedy.
And, as you'll see, in a way, he's still watching over them. Is there anything else you want to ask me? Or do you want to go up there?
Not at all.
I see no scorched trees or fire damage on the building.
You're pretty damn observant, ain't you? The fire was quickly contained. Old Silas acted as soon as he could.
Not soon enough to save the Hawkins.
They were trapped in the drawing room. And don't go troubling Silas anymore. His guilt torments him enough as it is. Are we gonna take a closer look at this mansion, or do you have other questions?
I always have other questions, fellows. I always have other questions.
I prefer to be prepared if
There's going to be trouble.
It's a wise attitude. But apart from old Silas and some rotten floorboards, there's nothing to worry about.
That is something to worry about, though. Rotten floorboards is quite dangerous when you're traveling through abandoned buildings. Remember that, everyone. Even though it looks very sturdy, you have no idea what termites or rot has gotten underneath them. Varnish can have a very good way of hiding that sort of thing. Be careful in abandoned buildings. They are very fun and entertaining to travel through, but be careful.
Right?
There's your PSA for old Eric Winters today. Don't say you don't learn anything on this channel.
Its foundation
Spread the word.
date from the arrival of the first settlers.
Look, it's educational.
Charles Hawkins' deaths.
You've already begun to nose around, it would seem.
I have.
So, since you already know it, the Hawkins family couldn't afford the upkeep of this house.
No surprise.
It
Look at it.
remains
It's
to be
a
seen what
truly
they do with
impressive
their money.
mansion.
I wager it was Charles Hawkins' travels. Let's go up there. Unless you still have questions.
No, I think I've run out of questions.
Night
And
falls
random
quickly here.
PSAs about abandoned
I want to be
houses.
able to see when we arrive.
I'll go with you, if only to reassure Silas.
Anyone here done any urban exploring?
Why not?
Right. Let's go.
I've only done a bit, but... Sinking City. The name seems familiar. Perhaps there wouldn't be so many abandoned buildings around where you are, old Tiberian. Anyone else done urban exploring? This is your chance to speak up. Perhaps you have an exciting story to tell. But yes, while that's happening, the Sinking City. Is that another game based in the kind of Lovecraftian stylings? Because I think I may have heard that, or seen a trailer of it at some point. Sounds like a pretty good movie, actually, but I don't think it is. Oh dear. Well, this is tragic. It's a video game. Ah, I see. I'll have to give it a look. See how it is. Perhaps that's the one that has the dogman in it. Because I remember there are a few games around the same time, and if it was released a year after this one, then it may have been confused in my head. My YouTube gives me video game trailers, movie trailers. That sort of thing always comes. I do see a lot of strange stuff on my YouTube because I do like watching that sort of thing. Trailers are good fun. Yeah, I've really got to fix this mic at some point. Probably gonna get a new mic soon. Now, let's do some
Someone must
investigating.
really hate Charles Hawkins.
Goodness.
I told you. Silas Winchester is still watching over the Hawkins family.
I must say, it's pretty gloomy.
So, Detective, does this place inspire any thoughts?
We'll see.
Do you know if Charles Hawkins had any enemies?
Not to our knowledge. He was a well-respected personality on the island.
It's always suspicious, though, when they say that.
Silas would never have let such a thing happen.
Why were they buried here?
Yeah.
I was given to believe that it was Charles Hawkins' wish.
Strange idea. I imagine Webster wasn't too pleased.
Mrs. Hawkins' father? It's said that he's devastated.
He was. He came to a drunkard.
Let's go to the mansion.
To
Please
get
give me a
his...
minute. I didn't expect to set foot back here after the burial. What kind of deranged individual would defile this sanctuary? And steal a burnt painting?
Good
I don't
question.
see Silas
Have
doing such a
Mr.
thing.
Spaghetti Man.
Flowers on Sarah Hawkins' grave are fresh.
Well, let's head off, Mr. Shiny Buttons. Once we reach that mansion, we'll see. I think we'll aim to get in the mansion for today, and maybe start slowing down there. I really do wish I had the energy for longer screams, but I really don't. I should try and push myself a bit sometimes, but goodness, it is very tiring. I shouldn't do it so late. That's probably the problem. Now, let's see if we can find old Winchester, eh? And hope he isn't carrying his namesake rifle. Because that may end terribly.
This entrance is still in use.
Why don't you just knock on the damn door?
Whoa!
Good God, man.
We're trying to force the door, you nosy prick!
Easy, sir, all right? Put down the axe.
You know what we do with rubble like you? We gut them. Dump them into the ocean.
Well, friendly fellow, it says.
Mr. Winchester, lower that axe. And let's talk calmly.
I'll show you how we have it out on Darkwater.
You haven't forgiven yourself. You stay here to honor the memory of the deceased.
That's true. I want no more violence.
Well, that was
no
easy.
more tragedy.
It's
Good
painful
de-escalation,
to be the
though.
last one
Edward
left.
Pierce has shown
You
some...
don't know how right you are.
Oh, yes,
Understood.
some good empathy,
I'm
good
listening.
sympathy, yes.
The
yes.
police report describes a domestic accident. But Stephen Webster has several reasons to believe that this may not be the case.
Webster is as
Good,
stubborn
good,
as an old
good.
mule. And I did tell him that we should let the dead rest in peace.
He wants to restore the reputation of his daughter. I just need to see where the fire started.
No, I can't let you in. The mansion isn't safe.
That's why you barricaded the entrance.
That's right.
And this door?
It's locked, and I make sure it stays that way.
No one lives in the mansion, and you don't take care of it anymore. If you have a good reason to be here, I'm listening.
Does he?
Vermin. I keep an eye out.
I couldn't say I recognize it,
Yeah,
but...
that's it. Vermin.
Right. This is what we're going to do. I go inside,
Couldn't
and I
say.
promise that I'll hunt vermin. Okay with you?
I'm not sure.
If there's nothing else to fear, you can give me that key.
Goodness, this fellow's just a silver-tongued
Take
devil,
the key
isn't he?
and do what you have to do. Go on, then. Just to get rid of you.
Let's see what more I can learn from this mansion.
Well, you were an awful help with old Silas, weren't you, old Bradley?
Shall we enter? Now that you've finished your fun and games with...
You're right.
And in the side.
What
we
now?
go.
Let's take a
And
look inside.
I'm with you.
head inside, and I think, perhaps, just maybe, if you'll let me, finish it up there. It's a nice little section of the game. Chapter 3, look, we did 2 chapters in one go. Look at us. I don't know why I'm trying to justify this to you. I am the master of this ship. I am the captain of these seas. I don't know why I said it like that, but you get what I mean. I'll just enter the madness.
Follow me.
And pause it there. Ooh, very quiet pause menu, very strange. And jump over to here. There we are. Well, how'd you all enjoy that? The beginning of the intrigue. Spooky. I really wish I could tell more easily when people have turned up. Oh, no problem. Feel like we didn't talk as much this time, but I will have a good night. Thank you, Tiberian. It's good to always see you. You're a very good supporter. Goodness gracious, my back. I do not know why the phone was acting strange tonight, but not much we can do about that, unfortunately. Everyone excited to see where this goes next? I'm quite curious to see it. Though I am going to say this. I think I may be able to see where this is going, but I'm going to keep it to myself. Don't want to spoil the surprise. I haven't seen anything about this game, but I just am, you know, have a feeling. A gut reaction. Other than that, I believe I will be streaming on Tuesday morning for me. Evening for the Americans, mostly. Tuesday morning. What I'm doing is still up for debate. If I can get it organized, I will be doing something more experimental, a bit fun. If I can't, then it'll probably just be... I don't want to play this game. I'll keep this game to the evenings. I'll play a random game. We'll see. We'll see. I wish I had a better idea of this, but it's a bit more haphazard, a bit more off the cuff most of the time. This was a bit off the cuff. I decided on this last night. But also, the channel. I've done some fancy stuff. I finally finished editing my channel trailer. Yes, I don't know if I can actually put one up, but I'll make sure to post it up. Not too sure when. It's 10 AM for me, and I'm not too sure what that'll be for you. 10 AM is a bit difficult. I'm always, yeah, I'll go with 10 AM. I know I'm always competing with a lot of people when I do 10 AM, you know? Well, a lot of the other... I shouldn't be thinking like that. I just get a bit competitive sometimes. Bad habits, I suppose, and old habits die hard. But yes, yes. I think that's what they aim for. 10 AM, in Australia at least, is prime time, as they call it, for the Americans, a lot of the Americans. So, that period of time where most of the people are watching YouTube or watching TV, and so a lot of streamers will be doing their streams around that, especially streamers based in Japan and the like, and they're trying to get a more American audience. It's kind of interesting seeing people actually all stream around that same time. Clearly they've all looked it up, like I did, to see, when can I see those Americans more often? But, very interesting. But yes, I've finished editing a video, a little 5 minute and 10 second, 5 minutes something or other, I'm not too sure, video to be like act as a channel trailer. It's a bit of an edit thing, and I'm a good ways to finishing up a supercut of my Resident Evil stuff. Yes, okay. Yeah, fair enough. Prime time technically starts at 7 PM on the East Coast, but the network TV starts at 8. Interesting. I think prime time, especially when it comes to YouTube these days, is usually referred to a period of time in which a lot of people are using devices like that, but who knows what it means anymore. But yes, I'm almost a good ways through doing the supercut of my Resident Evil streams, and I'm very proud of these Resident Evil streams, so hopefully I can get it up, and maybe you can take some time out of your day, you fellows are watching here, to watch some of the streams you missed, or watch the supercut, if I can get it out from the next 2 weeks. It's quite a lot of hours of footage to go through, and my eyes hurt after a certain amount of time. But it should be fun. It won't be a supercut of the game. It'll be a supercut of my favourite moments from the streams. 8 to 11 Standard Time. I say. Eastern Standard Time. Goodness. It feels a bit strange to always have to say Australian Eastern Standard Time, because originally it was just Eastern Standard Time for me, but then of course when I started doing international conversions I changed to Australian Eastern Standard Time. AEST. And Australian Western Standard Time, I suppose, is the other one. I'm not too sure. Nobody knows what the timing is in Western Australia. Nobody lives there. It's a bit mean to the old Western Australians. They're trying their best. In Perth. And all the mining towns. Got a nice place, though. Has a very long and flat road. Network team starts at 8 PM because it's 7 PM Central Time. Ah, fair enough. That seems right. Interesting. The strange vicissitudes and leftovers from... what is it? The TV era. Certainly out of style these days. But yes, supercut of Resident Evil. Look forward to that. A channel trailer for the channel. I think it's quite fun. I've had a bit of fun with the editing on this, and I've had a bit of assistance from my nephew to make the a bit funnier. But I did it all myself. All on my own. I'll probably get it up tomorrow, the channel trailer. And hopefully the next 2 weeks, I'm trying to get it in the next 2 weeks. We'll see how much time I have and how easily I can edit to get a Resident Evil supercut. It'll probably end up being a couple of episodes long, but we'll see if I can't get it out in the next 2 weeks or so. I just want to expand a bit more, learn a bit more. It's all about learning new tricks, really. That's this whole channel's prerogative in a way, was to make my life a bit more interesting. So I've been pushing to learn some new things, and finally overcame the barrier to editing, and here I am. So, look forward to those things. Tuesday will be the next stream. 10 AM for me, as you said, 8 PM for you, Old Tiberian, and likely various different times across America. I'll figure it out. I'll see if I can schedule the stream much earlier than I normally do. We'll see. Perhaps I'll stream it the night before. Set it up the night before. And then just jump in the morning. I have to figure out what I'm doing first. But otherwise, as always, good night, sweet dreams, and, well, don't be haunted by the terrible and tortured nightmares caused by things beyond mortal ken. Au revoir. Okay, I really have to comment on that one, Cardbox. That's very good, I saw that. Whiskey Demons, that sounds like a great metal album cover. Or metal album name, or a metal band. Just had to comment on that. Sorry guys, good night.